Hello everyone, I Gurpreet welcomes you all once again in the coding club, which is App Lab. So we were talking about the App Lab, how we can create a project using the App Lab. In the code.org, we have already created one project where we have learned how to insert the screen, how to insert the image, logo or icon, and how we can change the background color as well. So in today's session we will discuss how we can insert the code on a button. So for that, first of all we have to insert a button. So under the design tab we have the button element. Just simply select it, drag and drop it on the screen number 1. As we have the two screens, screen 1 and screen 2, so we are at present on the screen number 1. So now when we click on the button here, it will show the properties. Okay, so here the ID of the button is button number 1. The text is button. Okay, so if I change the text here, next, the text of the button changes to button to the next. Okay, so in the same way we can change the height of the button and width of the button. So here I am going to change the height of the button and here the width of the button. Okay, so similar way, once I scroll down, then there is the text color. So if I want to change the text color from here black, I can do so. If I want the same white color, then I can change it again. So now talk about the font family. So here we have number of fonts available. Choose your font, and next point is the size of your font. You can change the size, as you can see the difference here on the button. The text size is bigger than the previous size. Okay, so the text alignment, here the position of the text. If I choose the less, then it will go to the left side. If I choose the right, then it goes to the right side. And if I choose the center, then the text will move to the center. And finally, if I click on the justify, then it automatically set the position. Okay, so here again we have the image option. If you want to insert the image for this particular button, then you can again follow the same step. You can choose or you can paste the link of that particular picture. So if we want to change the color of this button, then we can do so. For that, click on this square and select the shade of the color. Okay, once it's all done, now we will run the code. I'm going to click on the run option. So this is the first screen, and when I move the cursor to the button, it will show a hand cursor. Okay, that means it is a linkable button, clickable button, right? You can see the difference here. The icon is like arrow headed, and when I move the cursor to the next, then it will changes into the hand pointing cursor. When I click on the next button, then what will happen? Nothing. Why? Because the button do not have any event control code. Okay, so we will talk about it. For that, we have to again reset. I'm going to click on the reset, and now I'm going to move to the first tab, which is coding tab. So here I have the first on event control option. I simply choose it and drag it to the workspace and drop it over there. Okay, so here I have the on event control option. I will choose here the ID. ID, that means on which I want to code. So here I am choosing the button number 1. Okay. The next thing is click. That means when I click the button number 1, then it will automatically operate a function. So which function I want here? That when I click on the next button, it automatically moves to the screen number 2. For that, I have another control here. I just simply scroll down and choose the set screen. Again, I drag it and drop it on the workspace. Now, here I have the ID screen 1. So I will change it to the screen number 2. Why? Let's take a look to the code. So we are coding this next button. So when I click on the button number 1, then what will happen? It will move to which screen? Move to the screen number 2. If you change it to the screen number 1, then either you are clicking on the next button, then it will show the screen number 1, but we don't want that. We want to move this to the screen number 2, so that's why we are using here set the screen number 2. Okay, am I clear? Okay, so now again we will run this particular code. So let's have a look what happens. When I click on the run button, so this is the screen number 1, and when I click on the next button, it moves to the screen number 2. Okay, so the code is working properly. As you can notice here, we have moved from screen number 1 to 2, but if we want to move to the screen number 1, then how we can do that? For that, we will add the same code but for the button number 2, and here the set screen will be screen number 1. So let's do that. I'm going to reset it again, and I will choose the screen number 2. Right? So we are at present on the screen number 2. So I'm going to add a button over here, and I will simply change the size with the help of these arrows, and I will again change the size of the font. Right? And I'm going to change the text to the back. Okay, so here the text of this particular button 2 is back. Okay, so now I will code. For that, I will go to the code option. So now I'm going to add the event Here I will change the ID, which is button number 2 for the back button, and I'm going to set the screen here. Okay, so again see this particular code. If we talk about the first code, which is on event for the button number 1, when I click on the button number 1, then it will move to the screen number 2. And when I click on the button number 2, then it will move to the screen number 1. Is it clear? So let's take a look. I am going to run this code. So at present we are on which screen? The screen number 1. So once I click on the next button, what will happen? Yes, we are here on the screen number 2. And now click on the back button. Yes, here we go. The screen number 1 is shown when we click on the back button. If we do the same process simultaneously, then when I click on the next button, what will happen? It will move to the screen number 2, and when I click on the back button, it will move to the screen number 1. I hope this is clear